Welcome to Passionaire Magazine, the podcast where we talk about business, tech, food and travel, fashion, health and fitness, the arts and culture, where we want you to live your passion. Passionaire Magazine, the podcast. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for Passionaire Magazine, the podcast. I am so excited to have my guest on today. We'll be spending time with Trista Croce, and she is the owner, founder, lead designer of BTS Event Management, as well as a wedding and event planner. So we are in for a treat. Hello, Trista. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. Now, for those who follow me on a regular basis, they know that I talk about empowering women and making sure that our next generation of girls know that there's a place for their voice, that they have the potential to be anyone they want to be, that they can excel and exceed. So I just want to kind of pick your brain a little bit about all that you do. And if you don't mind telling us a little bit about your success journey. So my first question to you is, speaking of being a little girl, when you were a child, did you dream that this is what you would be doing? What did you think you were going to be when you were a child?
No, actually, this isn't at all what I thought I was going to be. When I was little growing up, I always thought I was going to be a stay-at-home mom and have like 9 children and cook and clean and take care of the house. And that's kind of where I had always thought I would end up as an adult.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can definitely understand that. And the dream of, mom and wife and having the kids and all of that, I have to admit, I raised my hand. I thought that that's what I would be doing too. And as going through that process, the dream of what you ultimately want to be as far as your career is concerned, I find that changes as we mature and grow. Was that the same for you as you got a little life experience? You realized, hey, maybe I should take a left or a right here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just so many things in the world has changed as well. I'm 38 years old, so as a little girl, this was quite some time ago. Where when I was growing up, I really just didn't see women as business owners or in strong force in the work, any type of work zone. So I didn't see it. So I didn't know that was really something that had happened. And by the time I got to college, there was a lot more of like women empowerment and like kind of paving your own way. And it wasn't a super strong notion like it is now, but it was still kind of starting a little bit. And so I had kind of like shifted gears a little bit and was like, okay, well, I do want to do something. I just don't know what that something is.
Right. And I'm glad that you said that. I don't quite know what it is. I think that so many people are there and they don't know how to move out of the uncertainty of that particular stage. But I think that a lot of people have been there, especially if there's no degree or there's no formal plan for what we want to ultimately do in our lives. That's what I love about our society right now. We can take what was traditional, mix it with this modern spin that we have, and create a new space for ourselves. So I love that. Now, what made you decide to do what you're doing now? I know that a lot of authors that I speak with, they see that perhaps a friend said, I love your stories, you should write a book. Did you have any such nudge, or was there an aha moment for you?
Yeah, I was in college and I had to do an internship. I ended up doing an internship for a nonprofit organization that did events. And the organization was a little understaffed, I believe, at the time. It seemed like it because I got a lot of responsibility, far more than what a typical kind of intern would be placed with. And I actually, it just turned out that I really liked it. I liked the organization and kind of coordinating and management aspect of events. And then I loved the creative creativity and coming up with ideas and different kind of details that could be implemented. And I was like, wow, this is actually really fitting. This kind of like fits to my personality just perfectly. And so that's what sparked what I do now. And I just, kind of kept snowballing from that internship.
I like that you said that it's a part of your personality, that it really played into who you are authentically. And for so many women in past generations, I think they were not able to express themselves fully. They had great jobs, don't get me wrong, and they turned out to be amazing career women, but they weren't able to truly tap, for some, 100% into who they really are. And I'm so glad that the next generation has been able to do that. I thank you for that point. Now, speaking of the all that you do, owner, founder, lead designer, wedding and event planner, BTS Event Management. So tell us a little bit about what does all of that mean? How do you wear those various hats?
I wear them well. It's not it's not easy, but it is, actually a dream to kind of live out what I get to do on a daily basis. So, in weddings and events, there's two sides. There's the creation design kind of component where you're really kind of creating the setting and coming up with some really cool ideas and experiences for the guests that are attending to experience. And then there's the organization and management, and there's that real kind of structured part of it as well. And so we do both at my company. We're very strong in the organization platform and then also the creativity and the design area. And so that's what we do. So when a bride comes to us, we are creating the budget and the schedule and reading contracts and going through negotiations, on more of that organization and structure side. And then we're also creating the setting and making it look and feel and creating these experiences for her guests, like on the design side.
Hmm hmm Now, I totally and completely understand the importance of what you do. But we also understand that there's going to be folks out there that say, I'm not sure. Do I really need a planner? I mean, I have a book, I have a journal where I've written down, the colors of my flowers, and I want to get married here, and I want that, this, and the other. Do I really need a planner? What do you say to the person who perhaps has brought their best friend along for your initial meet and greet, and they're not quite on board? What helps them understand how important your function really is?
To be honest, I really don't try to convince anybody to get a wedding planner. It's such a luxury service, and a wedding can take place without having a planner. It's not going to be to the level or to the caliber of what a professional team can create for you. But it can absolutely take place. So I never try to convince anyone one way or another. If you're not on board, then I just say, good luck, sending you the best wishes ever. Your wedding's going to be great. And that's pretty much it. You have to actually know that this is a service that you want to partake in before doing it. Because it's expensive. This is not, just a small, like, I don't know, like nail appointment or something that you're paying for. Like, this is like tens of thousands of dollars that are going into it. And if you're heading into your wedding and it doesn't seem like you need that, then don't do it, but if you're going into your wedding and you're like, yeah, I'm looking for this one of a kind experience, I don't want to be caught up in a lot of like the different stages and logistics and things that happen in planning, then by all means, yes, absolutely, you do need to have a professional team or a professional planner on your side. If you are spending hundreds of $1,000s on your wedding, I would say there's probably no way to do it without a planner. But there again, there's just different levels and different kind of types of weddings, I guess you would say. There's some people that can throw an amazing, super special day, and maybe it's just very kind of simplistic. Maybe it's in a backyard. your friends and family are coming over, open invite, and that could be such an incredible experience. Maybe you don't need a planner for that, but if you are doing a destination wedding in Cabo for 300 guests and you have a $500,000 budget, then you probably need a team of professionals to manage everything that's happening there. So that's why I typically tend to not really convince people of it, but more so if you're ready and you need this service, then we are here and we will make this the best experience that you could ever imagine.
I could not agree with you more. It really is something that that you want. It's simply, okay, we have a date. We need a planner. So, because I'm not going to do this all on my own, I want to have
Right.
that experience. So, absolutely. Now, one of the things that I like to ask my guest is about keeping the passion for what you do alive. I wear several hats to make my world spin, and I love every hat that I wear, much like yourself.
Mhm.
So keeping the passion alive for what I do is quite simple because every day is going to be a good day, even if it isn't. Every day is a
Yeah.
good day, right?
Yeah.
So that's my question to you. For someone who perhaps is just starting off, for someone who just kind of needs a little bit of a boost or a recharge, what do you do every day and keeps you continually moving forward?
I really think just the actual job in general just kind of keeps me moving forward. Each client and each wedding or event that we're working on is something that takes place over between maybe like 6 to 18 months of planning. And so it's like setting new goals with each individual client that we start with. And so we start off with these ideas and these initial discussions, and then slowly but surely we're working through our systems and procedures, and then now we're bringing things to life, and it's like layer on top of layer, and you're just creating and creating, and then finally the day comes and you see all that hard work in person, and it's just such a fulfilling experience. And then after it's done, then you're like, oh my gosh, like I want to do that again, and you just keep on kind of going through that cycle. So the passion and the motivation really just stems from actually what I do, which is actually great to have that.
Hmm. Now, for for so many folks, there may be someone who's listening and they're saying, "Wow, I need to kind of keep that momentum going. I love what she's saying, and I'm glad I listened today because I needed that little bit of a push." I think that each one of us along our life's journey, we've heard something that someone has said or someone has gifted us something, right? It could have been time with them. It could have been an actual event that we went to, but we were able to spend time with someone who has made a really big difference in our lives. So my question to you is there anyone who comes to your mind that has made an impact on your life, that has helped you to become the leader that you are and business owner that you are today?
In all honesty, if I was going to name one person in the world that has made me the person that I am today, it's my oldest daughter. So I had her when I was 20 years old. I was still in college, and literally everything that I do is to support and provide for her and to create this kind of like role model and person that she can look up to as, somebody that paves their own way and just kind of creates things, for on their own. I don't, wait around for anyone else. I don't come from rich parents. I don't have a rich husband, and so I've been able to really kind of each day work and work and work and show her a work ethic that, women can kind of like emulate and follow along to. So I would say that I kind of attribute everything and all of the aspects of who I am to her.
Hmm. And I can definitely see how she could be your motivation, because you do understand that though we talk with our kids and we share things with them, they're watching us, especially when they're little. They're seeing what we do. And to have her see you build what you have to this point it has to definitely be an inspiration to her just to see, wow, my mom is really making it happen. So I
Mhm.
love that you had that mindset. Now, if you could give advice to um, the per let me rephrase the person that you are right now. If you
Mhm.
could go back in time and share a bit of advice with yourself when you're first starting off, is there any piece of advice that you wish you would have known then that you know now that would have made the journey a little easier?
Oh my gosh, the list is probably never ending, to be honest with you. There's so much. I would say, oh my goodness, starting from, um, I would say business wise, definitely get an accountant right from the beginning. I would say that was probably one thing that I didn't do and then caused a lot of kind of like redo later on down the road, because I had thought, oh, this is just it's just a small little business, but the thing of it is, I guess this would actually probably be the good piece of advice, even bigger than that, is to plan for who you want to be, not where you're at right now. So basically just getting started, I did a lot of planning for what I was doing right then and there. So for instance, not having an accountant, not having a business manager, not having like these key kind of fundamental things, because it was just me, getting started.
Mhm.
And then fast forward years and years down the road, and it's like, oh shit, I never, or oh shoot, I never got these things in place. I should have had them, So now it's like kind of backtrack and rework because I underestimated where I thought this was going, So I would say starting off, plan for who you want to be and where you want to see everything go, not necessarily like where you're at right now.
Oh, that is a great piece of advice. And I think that a lot of people don't plan far enough down the road. I have to admit that that is something that I have to remind my counseling clients of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even on social media, when it's toward the end of the year and people are talking back to school, and I'm saying, but are we ready for the holidays? I'm not trying to hurry the holidays along, but are you at the end of the year? Because you can't plan for the beginning of the year in November. Like you
Yeah,
can't,
it's
you
true.
can't
It's
be
so
that you can't be
true.
that far behind. And if you're
Mhm.
not 6 months, in advance for many of the things that we do, you're already behind schedule. So I could not agree with you more. We have to put that future self in there and figure out what do we want to do and where do we want to go. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to ask, what do you do that's just for you when you are taking care of yourself? Because self-care is so important with all of the hats that we wear, especially as women leaders. We're running our businesses, but we're also taking care of home, whatever that means for us individually. We do so
Mhm.
much. How do you make sure that you are doing something in your daily life that contributes to you having a sense of peace, of having a better life?
It's something I'm working on for sure. I would say I have my workouts. I have that's kind of like my me time, that I do. I try to do at least 4 times a week. But outside of that, I currently don't have a lot of things in place that like nurture me and take care of me, but it is on the forefront of my mind, and it's just been starting since this year. So give me grace, I'm 4 months and 24 days into this journey on figuring out how to make sure I have things in place to take care of me, because previously I didn't even think about it. I have 3 kids and I have a successful business and I have lots of brides, and you get pulled in a lot of different directions and you're never quite focused on the you component. And so that is a huge goal for me during this year.
Absolutely. I find that with all that we do, especially as women, with the all that we do, sometimes we get put on the short list. We're
Mhm.
number 97 out of 100 things that we have to do because we're so busy taking care of everyone else. And you sound like a lot of the women that I talk to. It's like I'm bumping myself up higher and higher. Every month I'm
Yeah.
getting higher on that list. And at
Yeah.
least that's progress, right? We're
Exactly.
not shortchanging ourselves. At least we know that we have to make those changes. And I think that that is positive, and being able to be open about that and say, sometimes I'm spot on, sometimes I'm not, but I'm a work
Hmm.
in progress. And I think that in itself is motivating. Well, I have one last question for you, and that is in empowering women, and you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier with your daughter, but I do want to give you a chance to expound if you like. What do you believe that you do in, if anything, to really empower women or empower girls? It doesn't have to be something extravagant or large or huge, but do you believe that you are contributing to the voice of women's empowerment?
I do. I really do. I mean, yeah, I did touch on earlier just kind of the example I want to set for my own children and their friends, but then just within the office, we're a 100% female workforce, and we are able to do some really amazing things. We do a lot of traveling. We work with a lot of very high-end clients, and I think that just in itself is very empowering in the sense of this is where I work and this is what I get to do, and we don't rely on a man to kind of pave the way for any of those connections or job descriptions or anything else. It's just a group of very, very talented, amazing women, and we're creating some of the most impactful and memorable days for all of our couples. And I think that is pretty amazing.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. Now, Trista, I have so enjoyed my time with you here today, and thank you so much for being a guest on Passioneer Magazine, the podcast. Before I let you go, though, if someone wants to reach out to you, to follow you on social media, what's the best way to do that?
Best way is Luxury by BTS on Instagram, and on TikTok as well. We're BTS Event Management. That those are the best ways to see us. We are very, very active on social media, so you'll be able to catch us on there quite frequently.
I love it. Thank you again for being a guest today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening to Passioneer Magazine, the podcast.